now that at least some of us here have been able to participate in this polls, we can now introduce one of the guests that we have with us by the name David Ngugi. He'll be starting us and taking us through his experience that he's had in the field of being globally employed, having opportunities, share just a bit of his personal story, so we can get to learn some of the things that you can do and that you're required to do in order for you to be successful in this industry as you're pursuing global employment opportunities elsewhere outside in the country while still working locally here. So without further ado, I will welcome my dear friend David Ngugi. So David.
Yeah, sure. So I can give a backstory of how I came to be a software engineer. That leads up to how I joined an international company for the first time. So I started software engineering back in 2013, where I started, me and my friends were starting to explore coding and building websites. So it seemed like a very interesting field, and is what I ended up doing in university later on. And an opportunity came up. I was given an opportunity to intern at a friend of mine who I met in church. He had a web development company called Websoft Development, and that's where I went to learn a little bit of how programming works and how you can earn money by coding coding websites. I did not know anything about technology. This was completely new to me, and I was driven. When you see a result on your screen, I was really driven to continue doing that. So I really pursued that, and even by the time I was joining university at the Technical University of Kenya, I was already doing freelance projects. I was maintaining people's websites. I was building websites from scratch. I started building now applications for companies and organizations. Some of them I even volunteered for free. So just to gain that experience, or I just wanted to do that project. And all these experiences, which were not even highly paying, for the most part, you can imagine as a freelance developer back in the day, things were quite cheap, and also didn't know my worth as a developer. Yeah, so by the time it reached 2018, I had done so much freelancing work, and I was tired. I was tired of doing freelancing work. Yeah, so some of my friends had joined a company called Andela. So if you're in Kenya, you might have heard of Andela. It was based. It was in several countries. So it was in Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. But right now it's more of a fully remote, decentralized company.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us a bit how did you land from or after freelancing? What motivated you now to join into the workforce of probably a global institution like Andela?
Yeah, thank you. I was getting to that, but I'd had some of my friends had joined Andela, so they were telling me, there are great opportunities here to be able to work with clients from all over the world. So what Andela did was be able to take young people, train them up, in programming, help them build, those technical skills. They're able to work as a team, and then place them with a client who may be here locally, maybe anywhere, maybe all over the world. So when I heard that, there wasn't any other company that I knew of personally that did that at the time, and that was in good standing the way Andela was. And Andela was kind of local. It had a local office. So I applied to the company and actually failed 3 times to get the opportunity. Yeah, but I persisted, and they accepted me. I joined as a senior consultant back then, and my first company that I worked for internationally was called Career Now Brands. It's in the US, in Detroit, to be specific. So it was
the company, the Detroit company.
No, I didn't get to visit it. I didn't reach that point. It was purely remotely. Yeah, just from my house in Kasarani.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So let me now ask, what were the skills that you actually used for you to get that opportunity in now, for example, you talked about Andela. Are these same skills the ones that you now transferred into the new institution?
Yes. Yes. Andela was very good at helping you build skills in terms of working within a team and working remotely. So those are the skills that were really important, and also communicating effectively. So you can imagine there's a huge time zone difference, about 8-hour difference between here and Detroit. So the major skills, not even the technical skills, is communication, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to communicate to the person you're working with, your teammates, and also your managers, and also your the rest of the company. Yeah, just to keep things in track, and there's no breakdown of communication anywhere. Yep.
And if you were to advise somebody who would like to pursue or go along in the same track, what are some of the practical steps and practical skill sets that they can try looking into so that they can be relevant and actually get some of the same opportunities you are enjoying right now?
Yeah, so if you're looking into, let's say, IT, in the IT industry, I can start from the IT industry. You require good technical skills. So yeah, first of all, like if you enter in, let's say, web development or mobile development, you need to be able to build, an app, properly, using standards, the right standards, the right principles. That they're free online. That's the beauty of it. You can get all these things freely on YouTube, on blogs, on websites. If you're really passionate on something, there's somebody out there who's also talking about it. And I also encourage people to network with other people in the industry. So, for example, for myself, I had to join meetups. So I just looked for them online, on Telegram, anywhere. And found Nairobi. There's meetups in Nairobi, that do tech meetups. So we go to a place like iHub here in Kilimani, and we attend those conferences. We attend events where we are building applications overnight in 24 hours, and we compete. Those really helped build those skills for me, and also work within a small team in a very tight time frame. And also those volunteer work. Actually, I landed the job in Andela because of some of those volunteer work that I did, where I led teams who we were all volunteering to build a platform for our local church. And, those little things that you may ignore, that, I just volunteered somewhere and you never even mention it anywhere in your CV. Those might be the things that will help you land a certain job or a contract, or, expand your business. Yeah.
Thank you so much, David. I believe that's very beautiful sharing, very rich. And even for the rest of the people who've joined the live, we will be able to share some of the resources that David is talking about in greater detail, some of the links that you can follow for some of the training material and some of the training resources that David has been able to identify that we can all be able to share. For those who are passionate in the field of ICT, there are a number of different trainings that you can get. Some of them that are readily available, some maybe may require a small financing here and there. That's why Kingdom SACCO is here. In case now you will need some of those financial assistance, will be here to carry you along the way. And with that said, David, thank you so much. We'd also like to invite the other guest, Nelly Cheboi, if she can hear me. You can also say hello to the team.
Hi everybody, my name is Nelly Cheboi. I'm the CEO and founder of Jacket Africa.
Thank you, Nelly. Thank you. Nelly, if you could also share, I'm sure the team is also quite passionate, and they'd like to know just a little bit more of the CEO of TechLead Africa, and just a background story of how did Nelly emerge to be the CEO of TechLead Africa.
Wow. Thank you for the question, Martin. So I'm actually calling in from Mogotio, which is where I was born and raised. And growing up here, I really experienced, the normal challenges of poverty. And I really struggled. I couldn't even have kerosene at home, so I used to study in verandas. And growing up here, I became really motivated to think about sustainable solutions towards poverty, mostly just from seeing how hard my mom and even her friends, how hard they were working to educate us. But no matter how hard they work, our life was still the same. So I chose to really like embrace education, like really, really study, like insanely study. Like I'm in class 6 and I'm reading like Form 2 books. So I finished class 8. I was the top girl in Koiba Tech district here in Baringo, and I went into I got admitted to a national school. When I went there, we did not have money at home. Like my mom only had like 5K to her name, and she took me there. And we really struggled with tuition when I was at the high school. Like I was constantly sent home for tuition. And so every time I'm coming home, I'm like studying like in the matatu coming home, or if I'm at the Kibanda, I'm just catching up on my studies. I did graduate with an A, even after all that, missing school. And then from that, I'm also a marketer. I just kept telling people, Mimi ni Nelly nimepata A. Mimi ni Nelly nimepata A. So someone heard about about my story and introduced me to a program called Zawadi Africa. And Zawadi Africa take like really, diligent women and help them apply to scholarships in the US. And so in 2012, I joined Zawadi Africa, and through that got a scholarship to study in America. I first used a computer when I was at Zawadi Africa. Like I graduated, and so we're applying to scholarships. So I'm at Zawadi Africa. I'm using that to apply to scholarships. But most of the time I was using my phone. I had the, is it called the Idios phone? Is it Idios or Idios? That phone, I was using that phone to apply to scholarships. And so I did get a scholarship, and I went to America in 2012. And when I got there, I mean, of course, culture shock and all that. But something that was particularly obvious is just how far behind I was when it comes to technology. For example, you're given like a 10-page paper essay, and you're given but for me, I cannot type. I have a laptop, but I cannot type. I'm typing DJ like, okay, right? And so, like I had to write on a piece of paper because I cannot think, and as I'm trying to find the keys, I on a piece of paper and then struggle to transcribe it into the computer. And so I was kind of like not doing that well. I mean, I was kind of fine, but I was really struggling to complete my education simply because I just did not know those things. Sending an email, even Googling things, or even just doing assignments. Like for them, it's given. They don't teach you that, right? It's like, hey, you should know how to send an email, or how to Google, or how to type. And you're in a new country, you're trying to understand their culture, you're just like, and so for me, like I was extremely sad about this, but the only consolation I could tell myself is like, hey, Nelly, you studied in verandas, you made it all the way to America. The only reason you're struggling is simply because you came from Mogotio. That was meant to provide solace, but it actually pointed at a very clear problem in that if I made it all the way to America and still struggling, what about my community back home? And it's not sustainable, like that we all leave the country to make it. Like, how can I instead change the narrative so that even if you're in Mogotio, you can make it? And that really became the genesis of TechLead Africa, in that how can I teach kids and people in rural Kenya and eventually rural Africa digital skills. And so did a few things. I built a school fast because I thought I needed to build a school fast. I did that. And then along the way, I discovered, I could actually go into existing schools and teach skills. So right now we are in 15 schools teaching about 600 kids, 6,000 kids every single day. and they're learning about web programming. They're building websites. They're learning about Python. They're using the terminal, and so a lot of what David mentioned, is that's what we're trying to teach them when they're still young. So that, like, if you're given like unlimited time with these kids, can you imagine getting to a third grader and teaching them how to network online, how to send an email, how to program, and that self-efficacy mindset that they can make things happen for them. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to them when they're still young, teaching them, like, when we have ample time from grade 3 to grade 8, teach them all these skills so that when they graduate high schools, they don't need to go, they already have the skills. And Kenyans are hustlers. We do the job to hustle. So yeah, go hustle online with the skills. So that's really the basic of Tech in Africa.
Okay, that's an amazing story. Very impactful. Let me ask. Maybe you can share even some little more now on practical steps that you believe some of the teenagers in the Kenyan economy, and some of the skills that you feel are necessary in this 2023 and beyond, that people need to start looking into and actively taking steps to acquire these skills so that they can get employment opportunities, not only in Kenya but even globally. What would you say about that, perhaps?
I think it's really just how to be a digital citizen. That's really all that comes down to it. A digital citizen is someone who is able to, get the answers they need. There's a lot of resources online. People are sharing content like crazy. And so whatever you need is out there. And given that the nature of the internet, in that, like, even if like you're really good at selling very specific thing, you can find a million people who will buy that thing, because it's just like you have the entire world at your fingertips, really. And so knowing how to leverage that in terms of networking, knowing how to, like, some things that we see Kenyans do, like you see Kenyans on comments, they're very mean. Like, people can see that. You're not, it's like, you think because people cannot see your face, they see you, right? So how can you actually leverage that instead? Like, actually cheer someone on, become that cheerleader. And the idea that, like, whatever you need, you can learn. There's so many resources, and that specific mindset. That's what we call self-efficacy, believing that you can make things happen for them. That specific mindset, if you have that, you can actually conquer anything. Yeah. Like, I have, like, running Tech in Africa, I've had to learn so many things. I've had to learn how to be a marketer, how to be a leader, how to hire people, how to handle very complicated, how to do sales. Like, I did not have any of those skills, but constantly I just believe that, hey, whatever I need to do, I can go learn. Like, there are videos online, that growth mindset. And so I think that is the one thing that most people don't understand, in that the power of the internet is so powerful. It's so insanely powerful that if you just use it the right way and you leverage this information, you can easily grow your empire.
Okay. I really appreciate that. That's very positive. Indeed. Now maybe let me ask just a little more. Maybe...
Can you give me 1 second? Sorry.
It's okay. I think that's a very interesting story from Nelly. I'm sure once we have some of those graduates of the grade 3, grade 6 coming into our workforce, well, I'm sure they will cause a big earthquake wherever it is they land, because these are very, very digital society that is coming out, and they are learning programming from a very early age. Maybe David, you can also share just a little bit, maybe something that you have recently you would like to encourage people, that this is a step, these are some of the issues that you can consider now looking at, for example, for young people, given your personal journey.
Yeah, I really like what Nelly has talked about and given her journey and what she's doing now. And it made me remember, back in the day when we were starting, this programming thing and computers and technology, internet. I didn't have a smartphone, there's no internet at home. It didn't have a computer. There was a point, I didn't have a computer. So what I used to do is go to the nearest cyber cafe, like, try and save up throughout the week. Go to the nearest cyber cafe, I used to have a notebook. I still have that notebook somewhere where I used to write, like, I Google, how do you build this website? There were some websites I used to like visiting. They give you all those tutorials. I used to write them down, like, like is actually, I'm coding, but I'm coding on paper. And then I go home and then I try and implement what I saw, like what I read. So even if I get an issue, an error, there's no point. I can't fix it until I go back to the cyber cafe. Yeah, so that's just something about determination and not giving up, not thinking about limitations. I think many people really concentrate on limitations. There are people who have reached out to me, young guys that finished high school, or some of them are in high school, and they ask me, they always see the success. Right now you're using a MacBook, you're doing this and that. I don't have a MacBook, I don't have a laptop. How do I get into tech? Because every single person they see who's doing well has all these resources. But I'm just telling them, like, start from where you are. Like, what do you have currently? What are the skills that you have currently? Actually, it's not a must. When you talk about global opportunities, a lot of people think about just technology, but there's opportunity in healthcare. Of course, it's enabled by technology. This globalness, the global village has been enabled a lot by technology. But there's social media. Social media marketing. There's, right now everybody wants to be a star on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're like promoting the right content. And I always say, like, take advantage of what you already have. And then from there, you'll be able to build from there. Yes, because I remember, like, I asked myself, like, I don't have a computer, so what do I do? So I started looking for gigs. At least my mom had a computer, but it was those old laptops. I didn't have my own personal computer that I could use full time anywhere all the time. So I just started doing gigs, any gig. Like, I don't care how much you'll pay me. I just want the money. And from there, I bought a PC, personal computer, those desktop computers. For 8,000. So you can imagine it was very slow. It was those slow computers. And I actually did my university project on it successfully and finished. And I was able to donate to somebody else who didn't have a computer just a year or two ago. They needed a computer. They were joining college.
Oh, so it went to somebody else.
Yeah, it went to somebody else and they're using it. So... yeah, you don't have to limit yourself. Like, there was even a story online I saw on Twitter the other day. Somebody was giving their background of how they came about working in the US. And I remember the tweet they made like about 2 years ago. They went online and asked people, like, I'm interested in technology. I don't have a laptop. Does anybody have a laptop who can donate to me? Just very innocently. It was very innocent. And somebody saw that tweet and actually sent him a laptop. They had a laptop at home and they sent it to him. And right now, the guy is doing really well. He has even a better setup than mine that I could ever dream of right now. And those are some of the success stories that you see from people who you can rise above even your ego. Just talk to the person who's around you and ask for help. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that personal story, David. It's very inspiring that it's not really about the type of machine that you have. As long as you're very motivated, you're curious, you want to go out there and do something, then just go ahead and do it. Use the available resources. Whatever it is that you can be able to do. I didn't know you can actually write code on a piece of paper. That's very innovative, and it's breaking the barriers of thinking I need a full setup for me to actually start getting passionate about this skill. So thank you so much for sharing. I can see also Nelly's back. So maybe Nelly, you can pick up from where you are, just sharing about the growth mindset and really overcoming the barriers that come along the way.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really happy to be on this call with David, because David is like the perfect example. When I talk about something, like his life is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. And it's very fascinating because, like, Kenyans, like, we're really good at hustling. We're really good at, like, just creative ways of making money. And the point is that it's easier to do that online. It's a lot easier to do that. I think the same things translate, right? Just like being genuine, just be communicating about your ambitions. It's like you have a bigger platform to reach out, right? So I think understanding that what you're doing offline, like when you go and try to look for a construction job, right? When you go somewhere and try to look for a job, or you're trying to feed your family, like that kind of grit, that kind of like optimism that we believe that we can do it. We're not gonna die of hunger. Like we're still the happiest people, even though some of us are really succumbed to poverty. I feel like that's the biggest disconnect, in that when you see us offline, we have so much like there's a little bit, we have a lot more humanity, like we're very social, like we get along well, we network really well. But it's just like, how do you translate what you're doing right now in your social, like in offline, to actually do it online? Because if you do that online, you can actually really go far. Like I think like an example is like customer support. I feel like if you can learn those skills and then be just very sociable and friendly, and I think the biggest disconnect we have, and I think it's because like we're not used to being online, or people think that being online is anonymous. But I think like the main thing is just learning that, hey, you're already doing these things offline. Just like you can multiply your skill by doing it online.
Okay, that's very encouraging actually, because it's true. We are already doing some of these skills offline, and all we need is just a little push to, overcome maybe the mindsets that people may have, or that anyone can have, to not venture into the online space, because it is a bit scary in most cases. You can feel like it's very intimidating. It's a new space altogether. You're not too sure how to go about it. But just as you can hear the stories of Nelly talking about the experience that she had, how she had to learn from the veranda, and how David had to code from a piece of paper just to get to this extent that they finally are in. And it's a good step. That's the best. That's basically the best way. You just do your best, overcome that barrier, that mental barrier that you have, and you can do quite a lot. I like, for example, the story of Nelly talking about marketing and being able to seek out a scholarship opportunity and marketing herself and saying, mimi ni yule niko na A. Is that right? I hope I've quoted it. Yeah.
What? Sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead. What do you say? What was the question?
No, I'm just saying, I said I was trying to quote something you mentioned, that when you finished high school and you got...
Yeah, mimi ni Nelly nimepata A, yes.
Mimi ni Nelly nimepata A. And eventually somebody had that call. Eventually somebody was able to pick it up, and she was able to go and scale very tall heights. And it's accessible to each of us. Everyone here who, as long as you put in the effort, just as David has also done, as long as you put in the effort, become passionate about that, overcome the mindset that will not allow you to basically try that skill and push it online. Just overcome that and go.
Yeah. So and not using online, like don't think you're anonymous online. Like don't just go there insulting people. And also another thing that we should not, I mean, yes, there's the luck part where people think like, hey, it's about luck. Like, hey, you may get lucky, someone may see this or send you a laptop. But actually, I mean, luck is great. And I think as a country, we, like, just given our culture, we believe so much in bahati, like, siku yako imefika ama Mungu amekuonea, like that kind of mindset. But actually, it's really about consistency. It's really about building that audience, really. So it's not like posting once or twice and thinking like, okay, let's see who sees it and who's gonna fix my problems. No, it doesn't work like that. It's really about like being consistently out there, like really talking about your ambition, having a very specific voice, and using that voice. And then along the way, you find people who resonate with that, and they come along with you, right? They build your audience. And so if you ever need anything from them, or if you ever need to like network and get a job, or if you ever, people feel like they know you, people feel like, oh yeah, like I've met so many people that they feel like they know me even though they've never met me before. It's because they see a lot of our work online and they feel like, oh, you know.
I know this.
And so it's really about really the consistency. And when you think about that, that is a lot more manageable than expecting luck, expecting that you're gonna just tweet once and then all of a sudden your problems are solved, because you're gonna get frustrated. And then also when you think about it as consistency, you also realize that you have to remind yourself, like, it takes time, it takes a lot of trials, it takes a lot of, and so when you think about it like that, it's very hard to get frustrated. But when you're thinking about like, hey, I'm just gonna get lucky, I'm gonna make this one tweet and I'm gonna get lucky with it. If you don't get lucky with it, then you're just like, oh, you get frustrated. But when you think about it like, hey, I'm just gonna show up every day, every week, I'm gonna be consistent, I'm gonna like this is my goal, I'm gonna show up. It's very easy to celebrate your wins along the way, as opposed to like counting is like, oh, this is it, this is gonna be it, this is gonna like can I tweet. So
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, there's been this huge fallacy that has been embedded in our society right now about the overnight success. Like, like even when they talk about, say, Facebook, you imagine that he just made the thing. He was already a billionaire by by next week. But it took like 10 plus years, for the thing to become the way it is. And the same, like, if I look at 2020, a lot of people like lost jobs, but then some people found an opportunity. So some people may see it as a bad thing, but somebody else was like, hey, what's going on here in this space? Let me try it out. And they made it, like it became even their career. And we've been able to see a lot of that locally here. And so don't be ignorant of what is happening around the world. Some people are really local and limit themselves to just what is happening here in Nairobi. There's Mandamano and not. But what's the greater picture? What's happening around you in Africa? What's happening in China and Russia? It affects you now. It's not like before where you used to have just, if you're living somewhere in Egypt, everything that's happening in Egypt is just happening in Egypt. Nobody knows, nobody cares. It's not affecting any other person. But right now, anything that is happening in the US, it's happening here. It's affecting something here. And that's the kind of mindset you have to have. Like, okay, I'm here in Nairobi. I've seen there's an opportunity for there's a problem in the healthcare industry in London, in UK. As a general, I'm here, I'm a nurse, I'm a medical doctor. Do I have skill sets that are required by the UK government? And we are finding people actually finding opportunities that going there and impacting those communities and also impacting back home through what they're doing there. So thinking globally, it's not just about tech and whatnot. There's also healthcare. I think I was researching as I was preparing about this. I was just looking into what are the different opportunities. There's things like e-commerce. A lot of people who are needed right now is shipping and logistics. People just want delivery and they want reliable delivery. So do you have skill sets in those areas? How do you transform your job to fit into the new era that the shifts that are happening in that industry? Do you have social media management? Like if you have a store, if you're selling stuff, are you good at managing your Instagram page? Because a lot of people are shopping through Instagram. Do you know how to set up advertisements, and be able to reach a wider audience? There's things like people who are teachers, you are teaching a high school or college. Do you know about e-learning platforms? Places where you can go even as a teacher and be able to offer your skills to somebody who is in Australia there, and they were looking for a specific understanding. I remember in university, there were some courses that were really hard. there was this maths course that it reached a point where the teacher was not making any sense. So the only result that we had was going to YouTube, looking for an Indian professor who, we thank God that the university decided to put that content online, and it was available to us, and that's how we passed. That's how we passed some of these tests. And and some people who are just volunteering their knowledge. I see some people who are just coming up online saying, okay, I want to do a certain master's degree. What does it take? And they're giving out all their knowledge there. And there are some Kenyans who I'm seeing who are going to places and giving step by step knowledge of how they went about doing things. So this kind of reduces the barrier. It reduces the barrier to entry for so many industries. Like right now, you can't really say there's a barrier. The barrier is you. Sometimes the barrier is just you postponing things, postponing developing yourself. Postponing, maybe applying to that company. You think that place is not for me. I remember there's a point where I used to think, such things, and it only takes you doing one small step, and then you realize, oh, by the way, okay, these guys who are working here, they're just like me. They have the exact same background. So what's stopping me from getting there? And as well as I said, like finance. Right now, there's crypto, blockchain, the digital payment platforms. Like, take a look. So right now, there's no barrier like to how you're being paid. Before people used to ask like, how will I be paid? The company is in US. I'm here in Kenya. There were not really good platforms for payment. Before it was like Western Union and whatnot. I think Nelly can, kind of give us a background, how the payments are being done. And right now it's instant. Like you create a wallet online, somebody pays you instantly. You already have. You don't even have to use old platform like PayPal, which will lock your money if you're in Africa and keep it there. Yeah. So those are some of the areas. So yeah.
I appreciate that. Actually, we are going to. There's a question here for you. Somebody has asked a question for David, and we are opening just for a few minutes, about 7-10 minutes, that we can have question and answer. You can post them in the chat, as well as clicking that subscribe button for the Kingdom SACCO channel. We'll truly appreciate it. And so a question for David: how does a person learning to code from bootcamp or online get recognition in such companies like Nelly? Have you got that?
All right. Yeah, you've got it. Yes, and thank you for that question. And it's interesting. Yeah, I know lots of people who are in boot camps, who are self-taught, who learn on, just by themselves online, even without a group or anything. And even ourselves, like we went to school, but the things that we learned in school didn't help us get the job. What helped us get the job was us learning by ourselves, learning what you learned on YouTube, on blogs, and also practical work. So I would say the thing is get practical work, build projects. If you want to be recognized by companies and they want to see what you can do, and you want to prove to them what you can do. The first thing is to always build your portfolio. If you are a designer, build your portfolio. Design. Come and see Kingdom SACCO app. Okay, how do I redesign Kingdom SACCO app to be better? And you can even give to Kingdom SACCO, show them, and you never know, it will open up a door for you. And also, if you're coming up from bootcamp, like some people have mentality like you'll get a job immediately, like you just left the bootcamp, because that's how they sell. The pitch is, when before you join some of these places, they tell you, you just give you 6 months. After that, you'll be earning like some of our people who went to Google, who went to Microsoft and whatnot. But it's not really the full reality. Some people will end up there, but some people it may take them longer. So it also depends on how you're building your skills. So the hard skills and also the soft skills. Hard skills are the technical, the job on the job stuff. If you're an accountant, those are are able to make these reconciliations on all the balance sheets, whatnot. But the soft skills are now the communication, and also how you relate with other people, how you relate with the team, how you relate with your manager, how you relate with challenges, can you adapt to different environments. They'll be looking at that. Are you able to adapt to different challenges? So if you received a challenge, I'm also a technical interviewer. So some of the questions I ask people is, what was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it? Or did one of your manager one day say, I don't like your idea? So how did you respond to that? And some of these things is what are required. These are some of the things I actually realize many people miss. Coming from interviewing very many people and also assessing many other developers, you find these are some of the issues that are missing, and also realize the same in myself, and I had to work on them. Like when the managers we are discussing our manager, I'm trying to evaluate myself. Okay, what am I getting from this, and what should be my response? And that's how you build. Like it's a slow thing, but currently, if you are in boot camp or you're finishing boot camp or you're learning by yourself, build practical projects. Like just any project, you can just pick a project. You can look at Twitter. Let me try and clone Twitter. How does it function? And then start looking at the in-depth thing. You don't have to build everything. You just have to build the core features and then understand how everything else works. And then from there, you're able to demonstrate ability. Yeah, I think to step into the door, you just have to demonstrate ability, and then from there, you can do the rest. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. That's very good feedback. Maybe I could also invite Nelly. Would you have something else to add on the same?
Yeah, for sure. So when you're building a portfolio, you should also talk about it because who's going to ask you for your portfolio? So what I've seen so many people do is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful platform for this. It's like doing like 30 days of code challenge, and they'll just like build a simple app and share it online, or just finding ways that you can consistently churn out content. Like people, you're getting job offers in DMs and comments. I think it's really rare nowadays it could work, but to get like job offers from applications, especially in software engineering, it's just like, how do you leverage these social media platforms? And I think if you're a software engineer, the best way to use this is also LinkedIn mostly. And then just LinkedIn is your friend. Find network within LinkedIn. Find someone, like if you have an idea like, hey, I want to be a software engineer at, I don't know, Twiga Foods, for example, like go find a recruiter there. Make sure like follow their content. Every time they post something, but they are commenting nice stuff, right? Just be kuwa tu mingi tu hapo tu. We kuwa tu, right? Don't just be like in a corner building beautiful apps that no one will never see, and then you hope that when you finally get that interview, that someone will be able to present such a beautiful app that you have. It doesn't work like that anymore, right? Just like it's like someone who is building simpler apps and is using these platforms and leveraging them to build a brand and networking has a much more chance of getting a job than someone who is very, very experienced, but building it in a corner and waiting for that perfect day for the interview to showcase their skills. And so, the really good thing about social media is like no one cares. So it's just like when you start, no one is going to see your content. Yeah. It's going to suck. You're probably going to get like 0 likes and stuff like that. That is discouraging, but it actually should be empowering, because it's like, if it sucks, no one is going to see it. And so you get more chance to like try out without like fearing like, oh, I'm going to post this and someone is going to laugh at me. No one cares enough to even laugh. They're going to move on. They're going to scroll, right? And so just show up. And the main thing is actually keep building that content, building your profile. Like, let's say if you build an app, share about it, share your behind the scenes, what you're building, share your setup, talk about your challenges as someone who's in bootcamp in Kenya. Just be the voice, just talk about different things, and then finding people that you want to work for, like these other companies, and then networking with them, following their profile and commenting on that. And when you do that consistently, the main thing here is consistency. You are more likely to go far. Like, you just have to become as much as a marketer as you are as a software engineer to get a job remotely.
Okay, I think that also answers a question and a comment from somebody. He says, "Congrats, Nelly, for the CNN Hero Award. How does it feel? ? And how do you encourage young people to know how to tell their stories, other than working hard and thinking people will see it somewhat?" And I think it also ties in with what you are talking about, just being consistent in posting, not hoping for that one viral tweet that will make you super famous. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we can ask for if there are any more questions in but well, maybe final thoughts, Nelly. What would you like to say? Then we can go to David. Final thoughts.
Okay. So, I mean, they asked me how does it feel to be a CNN hero.
Yeah.
I can give you some context. So, so CNN names like top 10. That's what people are voting for. I was here in Mogotu, like teaching kids, like dealing with just like running Chocolate Africa locally. And so, but the people that, most of the people that I was working with, like their parents and the people who understood my work the most, they could not vote because they did not have emails, right? And so even like forwarding them a link and tell them, hey, vote for us, they did not know how to like vote or even like, they can't. So because Ushago, so you can imagine how challenging it was for me to like the people who understand my work the most could not even vote. So what I did is I went online. I had a countdown. Like there was 33 days of voting. I started from day one, like day 3, because I was kind of sad about people not being able to vote. And every single day I said, I'm going to share my story and I'm going to remind people why to vote, right? And so every single day, day 3 of 33, I talked about like what I'm doing, why I deserve, like why you should vote for me. But it wasn't like, hey, vote for me, like you're demanding. It was more like convincing them why they should vote for me. And I did that for the whole time, 33 days. And along the way, I think there's one story that I'm really particular about. It's about a really cool one I posted, which was like day 7. And I talked about like 10 years ago, a reporter heard about a girl who had done really well in her KCSE, but had no prospect of higher learning because her family had absolutely nothing. He went on to write a story about this girl, hoping that someone will see this story and help this girl. When he saw the CNN Hero nomination, he came all the way to the Kibanda looking for me. But the Kibanda was no longer there. Asked about Kosi, asked about Nelly Cheboi, and was told, was taken to my school, which was a 4-story community center, and then went to see some of our schools and saw 5-year-olds coding. He was calling everyone, telling them about what he saw then and what he's seeing now. And then it ends with reminds me a lot of what Bill Gates said. People overestimate what they do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. We still have 30 more days of voting. Please consider voting for us. So stories like that, every single day, thinking about stories like that. If someone is reading it all the way there, it's like, oh, wow, I got to vote for this girl. And so by that process, consistently showing up every single day, it was hard. Like I had to wake up in the morning and think what I'm going to post and think about that. Sometimes I pour my heart out and then I only get 30 likes. Right? It's discouraging. I show up the next day, I get 2 likes. But you see, and then one day I posted about how I built a school, and all of a sudden I was trending on Twitter. I don't even know how that happened. But you see, it wasn't like, it was like day 11. It wasn't like, it was just me showing up and somehow just Twitter picked a story for that day. And so I think like that is how I ended up winning the CNN Hero of the Year, even though I believe I had no shot at it because I'm here in Ushago. I have no idea, like I'm dealing with running an organization. But I needed to get people to vote. And so I just went online and told my story. And I consistently told my story. And I consistently asked people for that one actionable item. It speaks volume to just how powerful the internet is. And even myself here in Ushago, I could rally so many people to vote. And so when I think about winning the CNN Hero, I just think about like, I just feel, it makes me feel so, like it took me, like I've been working on my social media presence for almost like 3 years. Like I've been working for it for so long. And so it was almost like that stamp of approval. Hey, you have your PhD in marketing now, like that. Yeah. So I really, and also another thing is that people just know of me right now because of the CNN Hero, but I've been at this since 2015. I built a school in 2016. I tried to start Techlet in 2018. And so what people normally tend to see is the highlights, right? People think like, hey, somehow CNN Hero discovered me and then no, it's just like, it takes forever. It takes forever to do these things. And so you have to find something you really enjoy, whether if no one is looking at you, If what is that thing that if no one recognizes you, if everyone disses you about, what is that one thing that you will be able to do? You'll be able to show up and do it regardless of no cheerleaders. And so, and if the answer is like, then you do that thing. Because if you try to do it for someone else, you try to do it because you're hoping to get lucky. If you try to do it, then you never get there, because it's almost like, because doing all this is just like, you have to have something like you genuinely care. When I think about it, it's like, if you're in a dark room, very sad, very depressed, because nothing is going your way, what will get you up the next day, get you up and go hustle again? What is that thing that will motivate you to keep doing that? And when you find your thing and when you find what that thing is, it's really easy to keep going, even when it gets hard, even when it gets easier. So for me, I was in Mogotio even before the CNN Hero, and I'm still in Mogotio even after. It shows just that this is something I really care about, and this is something I really want to do. And it doesn't matter if the cameras on me or off me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nelly. I appreciate that. I appreciate even you taking time and making time for a meeting. It's truly an honor. Then I will also ask David, maybe parting shot as well. Then we can conclude the meeting.
All right. Yeah. So I'll start by saying it's always impossible until it's done. As I was looking back, I think it's my wife was reminding me, like, if you look back 10 years ago and you see that person, it's quite far. Like, you realize you have come from quite far. And so right now, like, don't look at the short-term goals. So a lot of us always create short-term goals, resolutions for the year and whatnot. But look at yourself 10 years to come, 20 years to come, many years to come. Like, what do I see? That vision. Like, you have to have an inherent vision, that will always push you. Like, it will always be a motivation for you. And also, build something inside yourself that, always keeps you grounded. No matter where you go, no matter the amount of money you get paid, no matter the success that you get, there's always that grounding within yourself. And is what I always try to encourage other people to have. Because, a lot of people gain success or, get little money. Kenya, we always say, umepata pesa kidogo, alafu pata kibori, umebadilika. You start changing and becoming somebody else, and you lose the essence, of who you are. And from there, the downfall is quite easy. and when you have something grounding you, and even when things go bad, I've encountered like so many layoffs. Even although you have the skills and you're whatnot, you're doing well in the company, you can still get kicked out of the company. You can still lose that business that you have. It's a business, and it came a point I couldn't pay people anymore. So I told them, "Hey guys, we'll have to go our separate ways, and everybody go and hustle." And it's the reality of life, and it's very easy to be put down by challenges and depression, especially all the things that are happening around you. All these economic downturns here, and you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And you maybe have personal issues. You maybe are taking care of people at home. Maybe you have health issues. Like, there's some circumstances where you're not able to overcome, but there's some circumstances where you'll be able to find. There's always something that you can do to help you to improve and get out of that situation. So be adaptable. Also network a lot. If you don't have a network right now, just reach out to people. Look for groups that are in your industry or the place that you are interested in. Talk to people. Reach out to just somebody randomly. I've seen somebody even reach out to me, just writing to me, "Hey, how are you doing?" Even the other day, somebody reached out to me and asked me, "Okay, I'm seeing this chat GPT application of artificial intelligence. How can I use it? How can I take advantage of it?" And I just answered this guy. This guy we just met in a random group, like just a group of artificial intelligence enthusiast that I just joined several years ago, and I don't know why he reached out to me, but he just reached out to me specifically, and I appreciate such people because they take initiative. So yeah, always take initiative. Reach out to a recruiter. You never know the kind of people who are in your network. I remember a job I got in South Africa was just somebody, I didn't even know them, but they were a recruiter. They are a recruiter at Microsoft. They just wrote to me and said, hey, because they knew me from my previous company, they saw I was in Andela, and they were in Andela at some point, but I've never even interacted with them. They just wrote to me, hey, I've seen this post. I see you qualify, just apply. And I applied and I got the job. It's just interesting how things work out. And yeah, so yeah, you never know. The people you talk to on your day-to-day basis may be the people who will unlock something for you and also unlock something for your family. So as Nelly was saying, don't think you're anonymous on Twitter or on social media and start speaking badly to anybody. When you see a post, you have to add on a negative. Like right now, I'm seeing the layoffs at Microsoft, and somebody is just adding negatives there. And it's really a wrong mentality that people have. And instead of going there and offering service or kind of offering help or saying sorry or you become the opposite. You're opposite to progress. So just take advantage of the tools that you have where you are right now. If you don't have the money, reach out to someone. You never know. Reach out to your local or church, or if you're Muslim in your mosque, reach out to your relatives, reach out to your friends, even your teacher, your college professor. Like the company I'm working for, like the initial investor was a professor to our CEO. He was in school and he reached out to his professor, and the person invested in the company, and that's how the company started. And so the world is interesting. You never know where you are. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, David. Thank you, Nelly, and
thank you,
all of you tuning in. It's been such a mind-changing experience. I truly appreciate the sacrifice everyone has made, from the presenters all the way to everybody who stuck with us all the way to the end of the broadcast. We truly appreciate you. We will of course keep on doing this. We do this monthly. Yes, we've started with this month, and we'll keep on doing them monthly. We'll reach out to you via email and via text, just as we have before, and keep you updated on other projects as well for Kingdom SACCO. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again very soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you, Nelly. Thank you, David, everybody. Santini.